Hello Linux fans, Rob here. Welcome to Linux Quest. So this video is going to be different. This is not going to be a thorough review or anything. I'm just having fun with it, and this is Linux Mint 18.1 XFCE. So over the weekend I was watching Joe Collins' YouTube channel over at Easy Linux, and Joe's been doing this a long time. And I respect his opinion on distributions and software and enjoy his channel and have learned a lot from him over the years. So I saw his video on, I think, one of his new favorite OSs, which is Linux Mint 18.1 with XFCE. So he went through the video talking about, what he liked about it and things like that. And I thought, if Joe likes this, I've got to give this a shot. And I'm not typically one who gravitates to Linux Mint. When I'm distro hopping, I just kind of skip over Linux Mint. Now, I'm not sure why. There's a lot of reasons why it's continually ranking #1 in Distro Watch, and it's very, very popular, but I just tend to not gravitate to it. Well, I've had fun setting this up, so I want to go through some of the theming, and there's several things that I wanted to share with you that may be something new that you've never seen before for tweaking XFCE, and we'll bounce around and look at some things as far as the OS is concerned. But again, not going to be my typical kind of step through ABC review here, just kind of having some fun with it, but maybe you'll garner a few things that are helpful. Well, the first thing is I put the panel here to the left. So it's typically, or it will be at the bottom when you do the install if you decide to install this. Also, I want to point out my nice custom wallpaper here from Carl Snyder. Thank you, Carl. I do appreciate it. And then the other thing I did was I changed that Linux Mint green oddly shaped icon. That's one of the things within Linux Mint that I can't stand, that green Linux Mint icon. It's oddly shaped. It bugs me for whatever reason. That doesn't take away from how good the OS is. It's just one of those things I can't seem to get over. So I changed that right away, and I'll step through and show you how to do that. Also change the icon set, and let's go ahead and let's take a look at what is new here. Oh, here's the other thing, whisker menu. And I really like the whisker menu because you can take this thing and basically go full screen if you wanted. I'm not sure why you would do it this way, but you can go short, wide. And in this case, I wanted to go long with it because for the video purposes, as I'm scrolling through here, you can get a glance at, what all software is in place. So from that standpoint, it's kind of nice, just a scroll of the mouse wheel. Also notice too, you've got a pop-up here with a description. That is new, and so we'll take a quick look there at what's new. So we'll scroll down here to the welcome screen. Very nice welcome screen. Again, Linux Mint 18.1 Serena, XFCE 64-bit. So down here you've got new features, apps, drivers, just quick access. But just real quickly, let's jump in and look at the new features. So the first thing is the new application menu. So this is Whisker Menu 1.6.2. And my friend Dave there at Linux and Other Stuff, I wish there were a few more dots in here for you so that I could call those out. But now the categories can be navigated with the keyboard, so that's nice. And then, as we saw earlier, the programs will show their description as you hover over. And the menu now has some really cool new web search actions. So for Wikipedia, for example, you could start typing !W and then your subject. So if we do that, !W and then, oops, if I could spell. And yep, sure enough, that launched right in. I typed in Mazda RX-7, and one of the reasons for that is, oh gosh, over a year ago, I purchased one of my dream cars when I was a kid, which was a convertible Mazda RX-7. I've been trying to figure out a way to tie in Linux to the Mazda RX-7 because I kind of wanted to do a video showing off the car a little bit. It's just been fun, and it was one of those things when I was a kid. I had a poster of that car on my wall, and you know, all these years later was able to find one. So I may do a video on that one day. Anyway, all right, I digress and moving on here. So other new features outside of the application menu, you've got XED, so the new search bar, UI improvements, support for full dark themes. So that was one of the things that Joe showed off. He liked that mint darker theme, and I think, or mint X dark or whatever. He was running that dark theme and really liked it. Now I've got this set up different, but we'll take a look at it. And then there's some of the X apps have had updates. So the X player has monitor blanking. So if you've got, you know, dual monitor set up, you can watch video in one and blank out the other within X player. And then there have been some other improvements within X player, subtitles, things like that, plugins, full support for dark themes. And those dark themes actually apply over to Chromium too very well. We may take a look at that. And then some updates to the other X apps, such as X Viewer, Reader. The Update Manager has some new features for sorting. The kernels are now sorted by version and recommendation. And this comes with the 4.4 kernel series. You know, this is a long-term support release version, so you know they're going for stability there. Let's see, anything else stand out? Artwork improvements, some very nice wallpapers that were in place. And then, you know, they just go on to talk about the LTS. So this will be supported up till 2021. So if you're looking for something light and long-term, this might be a good option for you. Okay, so here we're talking about XFCE 4.12 and then MDM 2.0 and Linux kernel 4.4, as we thought, based off of Ubuntu 16.04. All right, so let's move on from there and kind of get into some of the fun stuff with theming. So if this is your first time seeing XFCE, just a couple of things. First of all, it's very light, so it's going to run well on a low resource system. You know, if you've got old hardware laying around, I tell people that, you know, pick a distro that you can get XFCE on, because it is very light, but it's also really configurable. So we talked about the whisker menu here. If you want to change things up like I did, so, you know, I changed the icon here. If you wanted to do that, you could right click and go to properties. And then from there, you're going to have some options. You'll see these tabs, but we'll kind of focus in here. One of the options is to change the icon. So you can click on that icon and you'll get a pop-up. And, you know, you can go online and download these icons, and then you can change that out. Or you could change this to just the icon. So you see there I have it saying apps. You could change that to just icon, and then that'll go away. All right, so we'll go back. Then there's other options for configuring things like show the application tooltips. You can change icon size, so on and so forth. Then there's other things here where you can change the behavior. So you can change the position of the search bar. You can move that from the top to the bottom. This is an area, just once you get into this area, you can go in and play around and really configure most of what you're seeing here within the XFCE whisker menu. You could set up commands and search actions. The other thing that you can do is move this panel around. So again, by default, this is going to be at the bottom, so we'll go through that. You right click, you go down to panel, and then you go to panel preferences. And then from there, you've got some options. The one thing you're going to want to do is I think by default, it's set to lock panel. So if you click that, you're going to unlock the panel, and now you've got little dots up here where you can click and grab, and now that will be something that you can drag left or right. Now you can't move it top to bottom because we've got it in desk bar mode, which turns the clock around and everything to have it, you know, in this vertical mode, if you will. Now if you go to vertical, you see here the difference is the clock and everything is going to stay vertical, and any words are going to remain vertical. So this was added, I think, 2 versions ago, maybe. maybe it was just one version ago. So that desk bar setting is really nice to have. All right, so from there we're going to take it over to horizontal, and again you click and drag, and that's where you're going to see that by default. It's just set up here at the bottom. The other thing you can go and change is appearance, and so if you wanted to change that to a solid color, for example, you could do that. You could adjust the transparency, as we see there. Here's where you choose your color, so you could really come up with a totally custom color here. So if we wanted, fuchsia for whatever reason, there you have it. So you can really get in and have some fun with it. There's not a lot you're going to mess up within these particular settings. Here's an area where you could mess some things up, is items. So items means your little applets down here that control things. So if you get in here and you start deleting things or adding things, and you can kind of somewhat get things messed up if you don't know what you're doing. So you may want to pay attention here when you get to the items tab. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this back. So we're going to take that back over to desk bar the way I had it set up, and I'm going to go back to appearance. I'm going to use the theme style, and we'll take the transparency all the way up and go back and lock that into place. Now there's a couple of things I want to show you. This Vibrancy Icon Set, I want to show you that. And then there's an app I found, and I'm sure many of you watching this, if you're XFCE users, you already know about this, the XFCE Theme Manager. So we're going to take a look at that, and then I'll show you, or I'll have the link for this, but I'll show you the default settings as well for the themes. This gives you more control and allows you to see more of what it is you're changing. So from here you can change your theme. This is one that I downloaded, which is Axiom. And they have Axiom and then Axiom Dark, and you'll see how that changes to dark right away. We'll go back over to Mint X, and now that's going to change everything as well. You'll see all those changes. You could also go in and change the window border. So earlier I installed Axe. So if we take that to Axe, now I'm going to see, let's see here, let's go over to the File Manager, and that window border is changed now. Now I'm not a fan of all this green, so we're going to take all this back shortly, but you can change your controls. So we're going to go to Mint Blue, for example. And so this allows you to mix and match, if you will, whereas the default, which we'll take a look at, the default doesn't really give you this much control or allow you to see as much at one time. Here's all the icons. So we're going to take that to back to Mint Aqua. No, actually, let's go to Vibrancy Aqua. All right, where am I here? That's full dark, so we don't need that. You can change your cursors, and then you can change your wallpapers. So that is the XFCE Theme Manager, and I'm going to put a link in for that. So now we're going to pop over, and I'll just show you where the built-in default appearance tool is, and let's go ahead and maximize that out. So here you'll see all of the Mint X themes, and they're very nice. I'm going to change that to Mint X Aqua, and I believe the one that Joe really liked was the Mint Y Dark. And so that gives it a total dark theme, including Chromium. So you'll see how that applies over. So that's, if you like dark themes, that's a really nice look because it applies so well throughout the OS. Let's go into the File Manager, for example, and you'll see there how nice that looks. All right, so here's some of the areas that I want to talk with you about if this is your first time trying out XFCE. So if you're an XFCE veteran and you know how to do all of this, fast forward or whatever, because I want to go through this for those of you who aren't familiar with it. So the first thing you want to do is to get these new themes is you want to go to XFCE Look. And within XFCE Look, you're going to have some categories over here for various themes, cursors, icons, things like that, wallpapers. So if we were to go into themes, what's going to happen is you're going to see all of these themes. We'll go to greatest. And then once you click in to that particular theme, you're going to see a tab here for files, and you'll see here install. Well, with the default setup, when you first get this set up, you're going to click install, and it's going to give you a pop-up, and it's not going to work. It's not going to allow you to install anything. So what you want to do, and I'm going to put all these links in the video notes, is go to this web page, which is going to allow you to install OCS URL. And you can do that from the terminal with these commands here under 1604. And then that will allow you to go back to the theme XFCE look page and install themes. And so what's going to happen there, let's see here, let's choose one. Let's see, we'll just jump way up here. The Arc Windows 8 theme. Now that's interesting. That'd be interesting to see. So we'll choose that, and hopefully this is not an external link. And so what you'll get, sometimes you'll get an external link that takes you out to a web page, and they'll have a different set of commands for a way to install it. But in this case, it's one-click install. You'll get this pop-up. Do you want to install it? You click OK. And then if it was successful, you'll get that message. So as you can see, they install quickly. So we'll go ahead and click close. And now you've installed that particular theme. So make sure you first go and get that set up. And I would suggest that you install Chromium, which you'll find in the Software Center. I would suggest that you install Chromium because it seems to work better with these particular one-click installs than Firefox, which is the default browser when you install this. All right, next up on the list is Finity, and I've long been a fan of Finity and their icon work as well as their theme work. But here you can either go through terminal, or they have deb packages, and you can one-click download the deb package. And once it's downloaded, you can click that package and it will go through the install process. Quick, easy, and painless. And that is an extremely nice icon set, as I'll point out to you here as we go through a few things. And then I'll also have, again, the link to this page, which steps you through the process with these terminal commands of installing the theme manager, XFCE theme manager. So that'll allow you to go in and do some additional tweaks. All right, now that we've installed something new, let's see where that is. Arc Brave. Now that looks new. Perhaps that's it. No, because Arc was already, there were already lots of Arc themes in place. So we're probably going to come out of this and go into the theme manager and see what that looks like. Let's see if we've got that new theme which we installed. I'm not seeing it actually. Oh, there it is. Arc Windows 8. So that's just going to give you a window control there. And now let's go over to icons and see if we have a new Arc icon set. So there were no icons with that, just... Yeah, there wouldn't be icons. Duh. No icons with that because we didn't install icons. But I expected to see a window theme there and do not. Oh, by the way, you can change these. I've got this set to large previews, but you can bump it on up to huge previews. So there you go. I should have done that earlier because that just gives you visually an easy way to really look and see what this theme is going to be. All right, like I said, this is not a full review. Just wanted to have fun with it. It's been really fast. It's been smooth and fluid and stable and all that good stuff for the whole 48 hours that I've had it installed. But I've enjoyed it. And you know, so if you're looking for something new, you've wanted to try Mint. I've never really been a huge fan of Cinnamon. This setup with XFCE has, to me, been much more enjoyable than their default main Cinnamon desktop. But to each his own there, not trying to put down any Cinnamon fans. I'm just saying for my purposes, I've enjoyed this install of Linux Mint over the Cinnamon desktop. So something to check out if you wanted to have a little fun with it. Hope this helps, and we will check you later.